My third baby practically flew right out of me. I experienced what is known as a fetal ejection reflex, and this means my body pushed on its own. I also had a really fast labor and birth in under 3 hours from the onset of regular contractions. Now, this amazing unmedicated birth was my goal, but I don't know who's responsible for it because I think there are 3 different people and none of them are me. Hi, I'm Steph. I'm a content creator, a name consultant, and a mom of 3. I am so excited to be getting back into long form content. I would love it if you would subscribe. While I can't promise any sort of specific niche, I will say these are the things I'm interested in: baby names, birth, women empowerment, self-publishing books, mental health, and parenting. So if any of that interests you, I would love it if you would follow along. Let's get one thing straight. This is not a birth story. I will do that in a separate video. I have already filmed and posted my son's birth stories, but this is my hypothesis and how I went from a 31-hour labor to a 12-hour labor to then less than 3 hours. Now, yes, I was the one giving birth. I was the one who chose to do all of these things. So good job me. I can take responsibility. But if you ask any of these people, they would claim this is why I had a super fast, precipitous birth and labor. We have my doula. She was amazing, although she didn't quite make it for the birth. She came a minute after because baby came so fast. I did have her great pre-work and a post-birth meeting with her. She held my hand during the most painful part, which was a placental extraction. So where they manually go in and pull out your placenta because it wasn't coming on its own. That was by far way more painful than actually giving birth. But that's another story as well. So my doula did things called Reiki and craniosacral therapies or body work. And so I scheduled a few of these with her. Please don't ask me any more about them. I don't know much, but I knew that I had a specific goal in mind and I was in a high-risk pregnancy. I don't think I've mentioned that before, but my baby was IUGR, which is intrauterine growth restriction. And that's again, another story for another time. But because I was high risk, I was trying to do as much as I could because I had a goal of an unmedicated labor for the first time. So I scheduled a Reiki session and I scheduled craniosacral therapy. And I remember, I don't know which one it was now, but they were very powerful. Like one time I was laying down and there was some movement over my belly that she was doing. All of a sudden the baby started moving a ton and I was not feeling her move a lot. She was quite small, like really small. And so it was hard to feel her. And she started moving like wildly, like it was so amazing. I just had tears streaming down my face and it was just a lovely moment. So I do think both of those things helped contribute to my body being in alignment, my brain, my issues around birth, letting go of all that negativity. I do feel like those helped. The next reason I had an amazingly fast labor and birth, I believe, is because I did the self-hypnosis through Hypnobabies coursework. Now, this was a suggestion from my doula. She said, why don't you give it a try? And I was like, I don't do meditation and mindfulness. I'm just not a very quiet brain person. I'm an anxiety type person. And I was like, I don't think it's for me. And she said, no, it's not like that. It's more about teaching your brain to relax. If your brain and your body are relaxed, labor is going to feel so different. And I was like, oh, and it was a lot about affirmations. And I was like, okay, well, now you're talking my language because I love words and I love words of affirmation. So I signed up for the course. I did the at-home program. I started when I should, and then you have to continue it and practice every single day. I did not miss a single day of practice. I was diligent. I was focused. I thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. I want to see if it's true. So a lot of people claim and have experienced, like it's not a guarantee, but a lot of people have experienced a pain-free childbirth by using Hypnobabies. Now, this is not hypnobirthing, that's a different thing. This is a program by Carrie Tushoff. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correct. And so she's the founder and owner of this. And it is a specific coursework and it's beautiful. Like you do these guided meditations through, mental images, you do daily affirmations, and you're supposed to put yourself into self-hypnosis every single day. So when my oldest was at school and my youngest was in like his nap time, I was laying down and I was doing my self-hypnosis tapes every single day, or I'd do them again before bed. I went through and read every piece of material they gave me. I was committed to this process, okay? So I feel like I was primed and ready to get those results. And I will say, the labor contractions I experienced, which we call waves in the program, they were not unbearable. They were intense, and oh my gosh, I was like, why am I not getting a break, Ian? That's my husband. Why am I not getting a break? They were so intense and on top of each other. And I was like, I don't know how long I can do this. Thankfully, my labor was short, but the pushing process was completely painless. The baby, when your body is working the way it should, it just pushed her little head out. Like, it was like nothing. I had to do some pushing, but it was not the same as when pushing on my back with an epidural, again, which I did not want to do this time. I tried so hard to stay in hypnosis when I was having all those waves. It was getting so difficult because they were so uncomfortable. I don't want to say painful because they weren't incredibly painful comparatively to my other labors. I do think the program helped me a ton. And the fact that the pushing phase wasn't painful is huge in my opinion. Finally, I went to a chiropractor. Now, I know this can be a very heated topic. I personally don't have strong feelings either way. This experience for me was positive, but am I seeing one now? No. Do I see the pros and cons of the entire industry? Absolutely. I'm just not going to get into it. This is about my specific situation during my third pregnancy. I found somebody who was certified in Webster technique, which is specifically for pregnant people, and getting baby in alignment, which is what I needed because both of my boys suffered from shoulder dystocia, which means they got stuck around their shoulders right after the head came out. So it was very important to me that I was unmedicated, no epidural, not on my back, and that baby was in alignment so that she could easily come out. I didn't know it was a girl at the time. And so there are so many stories I could tell. So I chose this chiropractor, right? And we would have a couple sessions a week where he would make sure that I was in alignment. It was very subtle stuff. There was no major cracking of anything or moving or shifting. It was definitely respectful of the fact that like you shouldn't do too much to your spine while you're pregnant. But beyond that, I have no idea. But I know that when I went to see him afterwards and I told him about how fast she came out, he was like, I'm not surprised because you were in alignment and you were doing this. And I was like, you're right. But you know, there are a few other reasons that she might have come out this fast. Sometimes when I'm really stressed out, I have a nightmare about giving birth again and having to go through all of this work and preparation again. Because if I were to get pregnant, I'm terrified that I wouldn't be able to replicate it, which is so silly because it was me who did it. In the end, it was my body who pushed her out. It was my body who was aligned and my brain that was clear and my positivity that I was strong enough to do this that came through. And essentially, I'm the reason I had a precipitous labor and birth. But I also want to highlight the fact that my doula was amazing and offered these fantastic services, and that the Hypnobabies self-hypnosis course was just mind-blowing for me. And the fact that my chiropractor really helped me to feel like my body was ready to give birth. Thank you for being here and listening to my entire story. I really appreciate it. It makes me so happy to be able to talk about this stuff. Please like this video, put your stories in the comments, and any questions you have that you want to hear about next, let me know, and I'll see you next time. Bye.